Hello. I'm hoping this works. It's our third try. My name is Miriam Kramer, and I found some very strange news earlier. And I told Heather, that's it. I need to go live because I got to share this with you. Um, we do have a Patreon channel down below if you'd like to join that Woke.Ones.Revolution Patreon channel, and the links to contact us. If you would like to email us, our email address is below. We love to hear from you guys. And we'll sit here and type and let you know our thoughts. The news that I'm covering today, to be honest with you, I'm just free winging it. This is not organized by any means. I just started reading the headings and opening the links, and it was like, wait a minute. Hey, Brittany Webster, it's really cool to see you. Yay! Thanks for joining us. Delightful, delightful. Yeah, we're gonna cover the news. Hey, Jessica Sweezy, I hope you're doing well. Okay, so Heather is in the chat, as you can see, and she's going to moderate for us today. If you have any issues, she's there for you. All right. So my apologies for how simple this is, you guys. Let us know in the chat what you think about what I'm finding today. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, especially if you find this stuff interesting. So I think the first one that I saw earlier today, I am using msn.com, www.msn.com. They tend to gather all of these news articles. So this was the first one that came up. Apparently, archaeologists have found, hold on real quick. Hold on real quick, you guys. My apologies for the issues today. This article is coming to us from Alexander Clark right here. And apparently, excuse me, these crystal skulls. I don't know if you can see it. Look at that. This happened before the other day. It's very frustrating. YouTube's having a lot of issues today, you guys. You have got to be kidding me. There it is. There it is. Look at this crystal skull. What kind of craziness is this? And they found it in South America. I don't know if I change screens or if I can't, but the archaeologists, they found this. You know how they do out in the jungle, but it was buried with broken shards of pottery, bones. It's almost strange, as if the other artifacts would indicate a village of some sort, and then all of a sudden you get a bunch of these skulls. Like someone took their time, you know what I mean? And those, we had crystals like that in my house that were really large, like a huge rose quartz crystal that's huge, an amethyst that was huge. several other pieces that were from like Brazil and down in South America. I have no doubt that you could find crystal like this down there. It's like, but what were they doing with these crystal heads? You know, it over in Europe, it would make sense where they would the monks in the churches and stuff, they'd travel all over the place to collect artifacts for Christendom. And they could have done the same thing here. The Mayans, with their relics. Yeah, it is Indiana Jones stuff. Okay, so the other one that I found, let me get there real quick. Let me share the screen. So, Amelia Earhart's mystery is finally solved, and this is from the news from Irish Star. You can see it here in the corner. Maybe YouTube is up. There we go. Can you see it now? There we go. Something wrong with YouTube today. So this article is coming from Irish Star, news source in Ireland, of course. But apparently they have found Amelia Earhart's mystery being solved right there. After experts have pinpointed the aircraft's last location. I was like, oh, okay. So let's go into that and see on. It says aviation specialist. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me know. Aviation specialists believe they may finally be close. That's not really right with the title, is it? To cracking one of history's most enduring enigmas, the vanishing of iconic aviator Amelia Earhart almost 90 years ago. The pioneering pilot and her navigator, Fred, knew during her bold bid to become the first woman to circumnavigate the globe. Blah, blah, blah. Let me get out of here. A deep sea exploration crew claims they have significantly reduced the search zone after reconstructing an identical radio to the one utilized on Earhart's ill-fated final journey. If you are part of my astrology folks, then you know that constructing an identical radio to the one utilized on Earhart's journey, that would fit with a Uranus and Gemini sort of situation. The assertions emerge as the UK acknowledged how its most isolated island residents left their 4,000-year home permanently. So, major, huge breakthrough. Says our latest radiation analysis is a major leap forward in solving one of the most enduring mysteries in aviation history. The extraordinary finding could at last deliver solutions to what occurred when Earhart's Lockheed Electra vanished over the Pacific Ocean. They say we have narrowed the search area dramatically, and this new expedition presents our best chance yet to finally locating Amelia Earhart's plane. So technically, I found you an article where the title says one thing, right? It's solved. The mystery is finally solved. It doesn't really sound like it's solved to me. I'm just letting you know. It sounds like one more good attempt is on the books. That's sort of what it looks like to me. Yeah. Okay. This was another interesting one. Hi, Brittany. I said hi, didn't I? Okay. Let's see if the window will share. Okay, so again, I'm looking at MSN.com, and I usually find myself looking at this discover button right here. And of course, like any other internet thing, once you start looking for stuff, they keep memory of it and then they try to offer you stuff so that you keep looking and looking and they can run their crazy ads right up here. If you didn't know that was the purpose, that is definitely the purpose. Okay, so I tend to look at things, just to let you guys know, I tend to look at things that are geo, Earth related. I do have a degree in geography, a bachelor's of science in geography. So I like to look at the Earth and what's going on with the Earth. So I look at geology, but I also look at things like archaeology. Yes. I will look at medicine sometimes. I also go into the cosmos and look at the planets and the movements with the planets. I'm very interested in the sun and the solar flashes that the Schumann's resonance is picking up on right now, which is probably why my throat sounds crazy. I mean, look at this article right here. Scientists create a metal that heals itself. This is from the morning overview. Scientists create metal that heals itself when damaged. That's some Avenger stuff, if I'm not mistaken. That's some Avenger stuff. So, okay, pioneering again group of scientists has successfully developed a metal with self-healing properties capable of recovering from damage without human intervention. This innovative development could have far-reaching implications across various industries, including aerospace and robotics. Oh, say it isn't so. The science behind self-healing metals. And I can add the links to everything that I'm looking at today down below after the live stream. But I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. To see that to me looks like a crunched up ball of aluminum foil, or am I mistaken? Right? But if you crunch up a ball of aluminum like that, is it going to keep growing and getting bigger and bigger and taking over your house? Because that's my first thought. Like, oh man, they're going to have a lot on their hands if and that's the case. So, the article, of course, will go more into detail. It says the advantages of self-healing metals are quite significant. For one, they could dramatic. Can you imagine that they take this metal, and they're going to go in a rocket into space and just be like, oh, a tiny little rock hit us as we were flying by, creates a huge hole, and then the metal can heal itself. Like my brain just goes because now I have a whole bunch of sci-fi movies in my head, and I'm like, so this is how Darth Vader could technically do it. This right here, right? I don't think I'm wrong about this. Terminator 2. Terminator 2. Okay. Right? This is the stuff I run into, man. So there's one. Oh, I wanted to show you what happened in Iraq. This is from the Jerusalem Post. I do like to follow the Jerusalem Post. Iraq's water crisis reveals ancient secrets buried for 2,300 years. I seriously don't know what this picture is, but down here it says a tomb recently uncovered by Kurdish archaeologists near the Muslim Dam. Ongoing excavation at Iraq's Mosul Dam reservoir yielded. Oh, so okay, they got a reservoir that started drying up, and now they're finding stuff from the Hellenistic era. Really? They have discovered so far approximately 40 tombs, says Bekas Brefkani, director of antiquities in Dohak, who led the dig. Right? Archaeologists documented clay coffins among the burials at the edge of the reservoir near Kunk in Dohuk province, and the remains were dated to more than 2,300 years ago, according to CBS News. Nearby lay the ruins of a lost Hellenistic era city and a large cemetery. What's going on? You have Hoover Dam, technically, you have Hoover Dam drying up in Nevada, right? And everybody's finding all these, like, quote unquote, I put the person in a barrel. Just, did you see that? They've been uncovering in Austin, Texas, of all places, in Austin, Texas, those poor people up there. They have uncovered so many of these type of situations. It's happening like almost as if the cemeteries want to be exposed. Like, it's time. It's time. Okay, let me get back to the crazy news that I follow because it's nuts. All right, nobody wants to know about that. It says, "What if we're not the first advanced civilization on Earth?" Now, this is an opinion article, so I'm probably not going to check it because I only want the valid stuff. Scientists cram an entire computer into a single fiber of clothing. What is this? And you can even put it through your washing machine. Scientists have incorporated key computing component again, my mind is like, okay, so you're telling me that you're wanting to plan a venture in space, right? You have the metal that can grow itself back, and now you have computer systems the size of hair, right? So technically, all of your avionics you could store in a hairbrush. And how long would that last? Questions. I have questions. There's also another like question here in astrology. If you are part of my astrology group, these words that they're using. Researchers hope one day to weave together many of these fibers into a cohesive fiber computing network. In other words, items of clothing. These are Virgo Taurus words. Virgo Taurus. So the blanket that you're going to lay on when you sleep is also the computer that you will use. You can throw it in your washing machine. This is the stuff I find. All right. I don't want anything political. This was a week ago. Ancient architects buried for centuries the lost temple of Krilgan Kala, hidden in the deserts of Uzbekistan. This circular ruin has baffled my apologies, archaeologists for decades. Was it a temple, a fortress, or something else? Nobody knows. This is some Indiana Jones stuff, right? Quantum entanglement. This was 4 hours ago by phys.org. It's website full of physics. I follow physics. I like physics. So quantum entanglement lasts 600 times longer in elusive dark states. Now, in my mind, quantum entanglement lasts 600 times longer in elusive dark states, study finds. A research team affiliated with UNIST, I assume that's an acronym, has successfully demonstrated the experimental creation of collective quantum entanglement rooted in dark states, previously confined to theoretical models. The findings are published online in Nature Communications. All right, that's cool. Unlike bright states, dark states are highly resistant to external disturbances and exhibit remarkably extended lifetimes. Then again, thinking about Darth Vader, how can you not start just? It's almost like we're handing him the manual. We're saying, bruh, here you go. You will be 600 times stronger in an aircraft we made with this growing metal, right? We're going to put all of your computers into your hairbrush so nobody's going to know, right? And you're going to be able to go to space, look at all the patterns of these burial sites, and decide how many drones you really need. It seems to me like a setup. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I see what you're doing there, right? Yeah, I see what you're doing there. It's all going to be in the dark. Great. Popular Mechanics says they wanted to build a neighborhood. Instead, they dug up 12,000 years of history. That's incredible, right? Story by Tim Newcomb from Popular Mechanics. Archaeologists preparing for construction of new housing developments in Scotland uncovered nearly 12,000 years of history. Discoveries ranged from late Upper Paleolithic flint to Mesolithic campsites and Neolithic farms to, to a late Bronze Age fort. The vast range of history surprised archaeologists who wrote that they felt like they found the whole prehistory of Fife in one field. And then it makes you wonder geographically, what is it about this site? And my brain goes to things like Outlander, right? You go to Outlander. Is this where the stones are? I mean, if you go there, let me know, because I am now very curious about this geographical coordinate on the planet. It seems to me that for people to be highly attracted there over a span of centuries, if not millennia, I bet we could put the standing stones there. I bet we could scrape all that grass and stuff away and we'd find this is standing stones. It would have to be. It would have to be. If I go into the comments, like let's go into the comments right here. All right. No, that's not a good one. Let me get you a good one. No, that's a big K. Hold on. Oh, this dude, Snarky B. Maybe it's a female, maybe it's a they. I don't know. This person, Snarky B, says so Mesolithic hunters covered a Paleolithic flint find, and Neolithic farmed over Mesolithic hunters. And bronze metalworkers made swords over that farmland, and Iron Age built a fort over the metalworkers. And medieval people built kindlings over the fort. But people alive today cannot build a house over any of this. Bizarre. Just extract knowledge and let life go on. Or do we really have to colonize Mars? Wait, aren't there ancient finds there too? There are actually ancient finds they're finding on Mars. Yeah. So you're telling me that there's a lot of metal at this location. If it's magnetic, let me look at the comments real quick. Donna Kilgour, hello, good morning. Hi, Brittany. Yes, it's not just Indiana Jones. These have got to be the stones. Got to be the stones. It's got to be the stones. All right, let me get back over my crazy page. We don't want any of that. Okay, this was a day ago, one day, by Daily Galaxy, whom, if they are who I think, no, that's not. I don't know who Daily Galaxy is, okay? Check your resources. An ancient temple discovered in Bolivia reveals secrets of an extinct civilization that predates the Incas. I have said this before to my people on my Patreon channel. Kind of like, because my professors in college, they didn't say it directly, but they sure did hint pretty strong. And they were like, you know, humans have only dug down so deep into the skin. We're only in the skin and barely scratching like the surface. Like, who's to say? I mean, seriously, you have Lemuria, you have Atlantis. I have an article that I can pull up here. Let me grab a new tab and I'll show you an article I found the other day. Oh man, some of this stuff is just insane. There was an article the other day that spoke about Antarctica, 140,000 year civilization. Look at this. No, it was definitely this year. It was definitely this year. Let me do the past year. Look at this. The debrief, right? Science, defense, space, astronomy, tech, energy, physics. I like this site. Might check this site out. It says scientists reveal new clues about ancient lost world hidden beneath the ice of Antarctica. See, this is where I like the real world to it meets myth. All of these findings are like myth breakers. Like someone purposefully went hunting and said, I'm going to dig right here because I bet you money. And then they win something that big, which is a find that completely rewrites history. It's insane. A University of Wisconsin Oshkosh geologist and a University of Colorado Boulder chronologist, which would be like temperature and time, the effects of temperature and time, have uncovered critical insights into Antarctica's evolution by employing complex chemical analysis of the bedrock beneath the ice sheets. The findings include new insights into the evolution of a hidden 3,500 kilometer long mountain range named the Trans-Antarctic Mountains. The researchers believe that studying the history and dynamics of Antarctica's ancient past could play a crucial role in understanding the climate dynamics of Earth's. I don't care what your reasoning is. You dug down deep enough. You found proof that we weren't the only civilization present. It begs a lot of questions, right? And then you have stuff like the Atlas Eye, 3-Eye Atlas coming at us right now. And I'm like, really odd timing, don't you think? All of this just popping. This was like a day ago, you guys. The Antarctic ice sheets blanket and mask the bedrock geology of Antarctica. University of Colorado Boulder thermochronologist Jeff Benowitz, a co-author on the paper detailing their research, explained. That was a really tough paragraph right there. For Benowitz and the paper's lead author, University of Wisconsin Oshkosh geologist, how many times are they going to like repeat that sentence? Timothy Paulson. We need to give that guy some goods. This meant trying to understand the evolution of one of the most enigmatic and largest hidden mountain ranges on Earth. Early exploration of the Antarctic continent revealed a surprising result: a 3,500 kilometer long mountain range with peaks over 4,500 meters across the Antarctic continental interior. Paulson explained, this range was known as the Great Antarctic Horst and is recognized today as the Trans-Antarctic Mountains. Although this ancient lost landscape remains hidden from view, the researchers say it is critical to the continent's ecosystem. For example, the Trans-Antarctic Mountains restrict the East Antarctic ice sheets as it flows from East Antarctica. This is turning into one of those pay to Piper, Pippin, Pollyanna, right? All right, really, I got to find the goods. Really, following the test, the team analyzed what they described as an exceptionally large data set from igneous rocks recovered from the Trans-Antarctic Mountains. As hoped, that analysis found compelling evidence, right, of a previous glacial period in Antarctica around 300 million years ago. The chemical breakdown of igneous rocks also showed evidence for changes over time, creating much more dynamic landscape history than previously recognized. Our new research results, that mountain range, again, basement rocks, experienced several punctuated mountain building and erosion events, creating surfaces along which ancient rocks are missing. Did you catch what I said? They found, the mountain range, basically, let me make it simple. The mountain range is like 300 million years old, right? When they did their little x-rays through the ice sheets, they could find that people, somebody, I'm very sure it's not a polar bear, had started digging roads, right? That they had started carving out houses, or maybe the houses were already in the mountainside. I'm just saying, okay? That's some crazy news. That's some crazy news. That was really tough to say. Really, seriously, I gotta go over here and check this out. Let's look at this page because this page is nuts. Oh, yes. Mitochondria. I'm always looking at what they're doing with mitochondria because it's nuts. Scientists fear mirror life, synthetically produced in the lab, could create a dangerous new form of biology. I don't know why that's hard to think about. I think I think my partner Heather could think about that in zero point 0.3 seconds after reading that. Scientists are warning that creating mirror life. Now, maybe they got buddies. They need look at the Darth Vader. I'm just look at this page, people. Micah Hanks wrote this article yesterday. Today's September 1st. Look, I was talking about Darth Vader. There it is. There it is. Deep underground, a gigantic sphere is accelerating the quest for mysterious ghost particles. I don't even know if you guys knew that scientists were on that one. Anybody want to see that article? Because I kind of do. What? Like, my first question is, why did we need a gigantic sphere to get that job done? Where are you going with that thing? Right? Who built that? Like, whose idea? Where are you going with that sphere? Because my first question is, hey, what you doing? Right? Where are you going with that? You guys want to see? Deep underground. We're deep underground, Micah. Micah needs to tell us more. Thanks, Micah. In an observatory unlike any other in the world, deep beneath China's Guangdong province, the world's largest neutrino detector has begun operations. Is this going to affect us? Because I'm pretty sure I'm a Jedi. I don't need those kind of people knocking on my door. The 20,000-ton liquid scintillator detector at China's Yangmen Underground Neutrino Observatory, Juno. Look at that. It's astrology buffs. Why'd they name it Juno? Juno's in Scorpio, right? This is me winking at my astrology friends. Has now completed filling. Filling. Well, the way that they're talking about it, it's Can you hear me now? Where'd we leave off? Oh, I must have touched it. My apologies, you guys. Right after Juno. Okay. Who's? Oh, me? Okay. So, Juno facility begins operations recently at the depth of 700 meters beneath Yangmin City. Okay, so that's what I was saying. On one side of the world, you had Alexander the Great, and the folks in the Middle East would build ziggurats, the buildings, the ziggurats, and they'd go higher and higher and stand up on a platform to, look at the sky, look at the night sky, look at astronomy, do their recordings and all, and so on and so forth. Well, the folks in South America, they didn't do that. They'd actually go to the landfill, okay? And the landfills in South America, they didn't, it wasn't just flat. They would dig into the earth, like really huge. It's a huge hole in the earth. At the very top, they kept the top of this hole pretty small. So that must have been fun. Anyway, they'd throw their bones and their food in there and all of that stuff. The astronomers that did research in South America and Central America, they'd go crawling in these pits into the landfill. I didn't know this. They'd get low on the bones and look out of this tiny hole at the very top of, I don't know if you guys knew that. And in doing so, they didn't need to wait till nighttime. They could sit in that hole and they could look at the movements of the planets in broad daylight. Aha. Aha. Anyway, so apparently over here at the Juno facility, they're doing the same thing. That's kind of why I bring it up. They're like, aha. They're putting this a facility is a massive 20,000 ton liquid scintillator detector. I'm saying it again, which rests at the center of an equally large 44-meter deep pool of water. The 35.4-meter acrylic sphere is supported within the tank, along with the scintillator and other components of the device, by a stainless steel support truss spanning more than 40 meters. When neutrino interactions are detected as a result of light arising from the scintillation, they are converted into electrical signals. Thanks to its unique design, the facility is custom made for next generation studies of neutrinos from our sun and from within Earth's atmosphere, as well as from more distant cosmic locales, such as a supernova. This is kind of strange because I remember this conversation once, maybe it was a lecture of some kind, but they were talking about humans will never be able to go live on Mars, or humans would never be able to go live on the moon because there are millions of species and we're all together as one. We don't know what a human being needs, how many ecosystems a human actually needs to live. And we never will. Because, they're finding species all the time. I can pull up the species they're finding. It will scare you. I do not like to show that because that's really ugly stuff. It really is. Kind of scares me in a lot of ways. So in science, we have a big dark star. 45 years of psychedelic research, threads of human connection. Duh. Duh. When Harriet DeWitt began her doctoral research on cocaine self-administration, psychedelics were still considered a fringe concept in mainstream science. How did psychedelics get to be mainstream? Did people know about this type of research? Because the majority of people that I talk to about stuff are maybe because I'm a Gen Xer and over the years, all they said since Nancy Reagan was, no, it's bad. Stop that. And now we have scientists doing research on the psychedelics, and then finding what 45 years later, she is recognized as one of the world's most respected voices on the effects of MDMA, LSD, and other psychoactive drugs on human consciousness, right? So they interviewed. DeWitt highlights how translating animal research to human studies has shaped our understanding of addiction, consciousness, and the core traits that unite us. DeWitt has led the human behavioral pharmacology lab at the University of Chicago for decades, so it seems like she knows her stuff, right? Sustained by an unprecedented 42 years of continuous funding from the National Institutes of Health. So she had a paycheck. That's really great, right? Her work aims to explore how animal research can contribute to our understanding of human behavior. This translation approach led to discoveries that challenged conventional ideas. I bet it did. For example, her team showed that abstinence increases cravings in both human smokers and lab rats. This finding made scientists rethink addiction relapse and informed approaches to addiction treatment. The challenge of translating behavioral observation across species has continued to be a central theme in my research for the past 45 years. Wow. Her work with MDMA has shown that the drug can boost feelings of empathy and help people connect with others, supporting its promise as a tool for therapy. In several controlled studies, MDMA reportedly heightened empathy in volunteers. So there was like a line, like a sign up sheet. These results provide an innovative path forward, offering hope for new clinical approaches to PTSD, trauma, and psychiatric care. In the United States, the FDA rejected an application for MDMA assisted therapy in 2024 and requested another phase 3 trial. So research continues. In Australia, authorized psychiatrists may prescribe MDMA under a 2023 rescheduling decision, although no MDMA products are formally approved on the National Register. Wow, her team also explored the effects of low doses of LSD, with preliminary results suggesting increased feelings of empathy and unity. They investigated whether these, I think a lot of people are going to look at I think that's why they did all of her credentials so hardcore at the top of this article. I think they're trying to make a point. Like, hey, this information is not coming from somebody I just pulled up off the sidewalk, you know? That's so if we all got a little high together, we'd feel closer and more loving. That sounds like a win-win to me, right? Her motto, keep it simple. Her greatest achievement, she says, is maintaining her NIH grant for 42 years, a rare feat. Okay, so drugs bring us together. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. I want to go back to MSN real quick, just in case some of this crazy stuff. They found more stuff out in space. Oh, this one right here. This one was Daily Galaxy, right? Archaeologists confirm early civilizations were highly evolved, and this vault proves it. I'm not kidding you. As a friend, I would not steer you wrong. They're not the only ones. These people went diving, right? Archaeologists have discovered a massive 5,000-year-old fortress hidden beneath thick forest in Neamt County, Romania. No, this is a different one. The ones I were looking at were off the coast of either Portugal or France. And they went diving and they found a huge civilization underwater. Say Atlantis? I don't know. Maybe that Disney movie isn't so far off. Archaeologists in Neamt County, Romania. The site dates back to the transition period between the Neolithic and Bronze Age, revealing a complex settlement that challenges previous ideas about our early societies in the region. This discovery sheds new light on the sophistication of ancient civilizations long forgotten beneath centuries of vegetation. LiDAR technology, that's a camera, y'all, reveals hidden fortress in detail. The breakthrough came from the use of LiDAR, light detection and ranging drones, a technology that emits, okay, thanks to technology. We love you, LiDAR, right? So the fortification is built on elevated terrain with large defense ditches and earthen mounds designed to enhance protection, right? According to Diacono, the ditches had impressive dimensions with lengths of several hundred meters, which required considerable human effort in the construction. The placement of the fortress provided excellent visibility over the surrounding landscape, highlighting its strategic importance. The scale and complexity of the site indicate a highly organized society capable of coordinating large scale construction projects. So, my question is 3i Atlas, are they coming to remind us who we are? I don't know. What is this? No, I don't want to go off. I will be here forever, folks. I will be here forever with this nonsense. With this nonsense. It's encouraging to say the least because the majority of mainstream news can kind of make you sad, can make you mad, but rarely does it make you glad. But this stuff, it's kind of like, you said what? But it's real. Oh, this is nuts right here. Scientists, this by the Cool Down, story by Daniel Gala. Scientists make revolutionary breakthrough that could solve major problem with how we grow food. Could have big positive agricultural implications. Researchers have identified an enzyme that could help reduce harmful runoff and fertilizer uses in food production. Where is Rachel Green when you need her? I don't know if you guys know who she is. She was a defender. Man, in 1960, she published this book and she was mad. And the book did talk about the river that I guess she lived next to and all the industrial sites up and down the river. And they were pouring their chemicals in runoff into the river, poisoning, poor little animals, the water, right? The aquifer underneath. It was just nuts. So she writes this book. And it was the first book, the first inspired writing that said, hey, what we're doing is wrong. We need to take another look at it because if you pour a bunch of bleach in a river, that can't be good, especially over time. So, this is a very interesting piece right here. The finding has the potential to reduce heat trapping pollution and prevent deadly algae blooms while saving farmers money, which means a healthier environment and cheaper food. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. That's a good one right there. All right. This gonna go into I can't go into computers. I got too much to say. What in the world is this? This is from the Independent. This will be the last one I do. Strange 2,300-year-old burial of dozen humans with hands tied behind back unearthed in Peru. Remains of a pre-Hispanic burial that was found during an excavation. There's the picture if you want to see it. Archaeologists have unearthed the remains of over a dozen humans in Peru, dated to around 400 BC, buried face down with their hands tied behind their backs, revealing insights about strange ancient burial rituals in the region. So basically, what you're telling me is they buried these folks alive. Is that what you're saying? Why else tie their hands? Kind of just gives it away. We don't want them to find a way to dig up out of this dirt. So we're going to smother them. That ain't good. You know what I mean? That ain't good. Wow. The burial discovered in Peru's northern coastal region of Puemape points to what may have been an ancient ritual sacrifice or burial. I don't know, National University of San Marcos, buried individuals showed signs of violence, including blows to multiple parts of the body, fractures, and unusual positions, hinting they were likely sacrificed after an armed conflict. Henry Tan- Tantalayan from the National University of San Marcos is talking with Life Science here and says the way in which they were placed in the tomb is strange, with their faces to the ground, an unusual burial pattern throughout Andean prehistory. Wow. They would have been a sacrifice offered to this ancient place of worship. Again, one of those other places, like you want to, on one side of the world, you have that hole in Scotland. Everybody wants to come to the hole and build their tools, right? Everybody here, they're all gathering to put people in the dirt and plant them like they're flowers. That's some crazy, crazy. I don't know if I want to learn about rituals like that because that kind of scares me a lot. Yeah. A week ago, ancient architects, look at this, the 900-year-old statues that shouldn't exist, discovered in Jordan. These plaster and reed statues are nearly 9,000 years old and unlike anything else from their time. Who made them and why were they buried? That looks like really bad crayon attempts on Play-Doh. Is that not creepy? Look at this. In this video, look, the statues dating back roughly 8,500 to 9,500 years ago, the pre-pottery Neolithic period of the ancient Levant. Monumental lime plaster and reed statues found at the ancient site of Angazel. In total, 15 statues and 15 busts were discovered between 1983 and 1985, and two underground caches created around 200 years apart. Oh, okay. That looks like something you do rituals with, you know what I mean? Like you plant them like waist high all in your yard at different heights so that when people walk up in the dark, they're like, "Wah!" Oh, Heather said it reminds her of Napoleon Dynamite where he draws the figures. The Liger, is that what it is? God bless us all. Okay, I would have to do another one for the aircraft coming. But if you liked hanging out with me like this is something I do every day. I will sit and look at this crazy, crazy stuff that's going on in our world and wonder. Yes, I wonder why. What's going on? These are interesting things to me because the regular news it's not where it's at for me. I want to see what they're finding. I want to see what they're creating. I want to see how again, I'm thinking of that metal. So you're telling me that you could shape the metal into, and if it breaks, it'll just be like creepy. My apologies. If you like this, let me know in the comments. If you want to reach out to Heather and I because you found a really interesting article and you want me to go over it, I would love for Heather to sit and go over it with me. However, for those of you, if you find Darth Vader, please secure the man because apparently there's far too many tools for this dude to play with right now. And maybe more are coming. I love you guys. We will talk to you later. Have a good one.